Right now, lawmakers are reviewing a bipartisan House bill that could ban TikTok across the nation. The House Energy and Commerce Committee is holding a hearing on legislation that would require the popular video sharing app to separate itself from its Chinese-based owner, ByteDance, or risk being prohibited from app stores in the U.S. Panel members say this hearing is happening in response to growing concerns the Chinese government could access TikTok users' personal information. A woman who uses TikTok to promote her company expressed fears about a potential ban.
It wouldn't kill us tomorrow, but TikTok as a platform has represented a very kind of meaningful and new way that we reach consumers.
TikTok slammed the bill on social media. The company says if enacted, the measure would, quote, trample the First Amendment rights of 170 million Americans and hurt small businesses. Jessica Levinson joins us now to delve into this for us. As you all should know by now, she's a CBS News contributor and professor for Loyola Law School there in California. Jessica, this is a remarkable one. You know, TikTok says this bill kind of violates freedom of speech. How strong a claim is that?
I think at this point, it's a claim that the government could get over because the question is actually whether or not the First Amendment is even implicated here in the sense that the government is not required to say that when it comes to all of these different private companies and platforms, that they have to be allowed to operate. The First Amendment is really about protecting us from the government saying, don't criticize me, or the government telling us not to use certain forms of expression. This is a medium. And so, if it is such a big medium, if it is such a big public forum that shutting it down does give rise to First Amendment concerns, then we are within the First Amendment. But I would say that's just step one, right? Step two is, can we withstand that ban? Because as you and I know, the First Amendment is not absolute, and you can restrict speech for certain reasons.
What's also remarkable to me is take a look at what Meta collects on its users of Facebook and Instagram. Take a look at what Amazon collects for everybody who uses that to shop. There are plenty of US-based companies that do all of this data gathering. So on what type of legal grounds can the US demand TikTok make a massive change in separating itself from its parent company, ByteDance?
I think the question is the way you phrase that is great because the question really is what's different between Meta that does collect data about us and TikTok, which arguably also collects data about us. And the answer is national security concerns. So we might have privacy concerns when it comes to both companies. Now, I would offer that I think the privacy concerns are likely different, but the real difference here is the idea that because TikTok is owned, the allegation is by basically the Chinese government, that it raises national security concerns. They could try, for instance, to influence the election.
Even if they ban this app, can that be enforced?
This is a devil's in the details. The legislation says
Yeah.
that it would be shut down from the app stores and web-based hosting. We're not there yet, but that obviously would create huge practical hurdles.
Yeah, kids know how to use VPNs these days. Jessica Levinson, always great to see you. Thank you very much.